My name is Ken Collins. I'm a consultant for the Drug Policy Alliance. I work for the EOP group, Dr. Ken Collins, the public health unit out of Washington, D.C., as well as Birmingham, Alabama. As many people know, the drug war has done more harm than good in terms of dealing with African Americans, the racial justice issue, as well as drug equality. In particular, dealing with the crack cocaine disparity, African Americans have been disproportionately affected and slaughtered, to use a lack of a better word, dealing with this unfair 1 to 100 ratio. In equal terms, you're dealing with baking soda, and you're dealing with baking soda in one hard rock solid form. So it's exactly the same drug, however, dealing with a particular substance in a particular part of the neighborhood or a particular area or a social economic area. One group of individuals are highlighted in prosecutions as well as sentencing as well as destruction of families, so on and so forth. And when I say that, African Americans are typically the individuals that are arrested for possession of at least 5 grams of crack, whereas Caucasians are more than likely to have the possession of powder cocaine. So if we're talking about equality dealing with the 5-year mandatory minimum regarding 5 grams of crack, you have to bring it in to equality terms, because if you bring the powder cocaine level down, now you're starting to impact and hinder another racial group / ethnic group, the Hispanic community. So now you have African American community which are impacted by the 5 grams of crack cocaine. Then if you lower the numbers, you're going to start dealing with individuals dealing with African Americans and Latinos dealing with powder cocaine. I've been, in particular, able to participate with the ACLU, with the Drug Policy Alliance, and this will be the second town hall meeting that I've been lucky enough to participate in with the ACLU. The ACLU has a number of other town hall meetings planned for different cities. I believe one in Maryland, one in Ohio, as well in one of the Carolinas. But any type of assistance that they need in that, we really look forward to bringing the issue to the forefront to the public. That way they'll actually see and won't have a more of a propaganda-based bias regarding the drug sentencing in the urban communities. There are a number of organizations that happen to be working on this in Congress as well as state legislatures. The Drug Policy Alliance, along with the ACLU, another partner is the Sentencing Project, not to mention the OSI, Open Society Institute out of Washington, D.C. The easiest way to get involved is to contact your congressman or woman, as well as your senator, and ask them to support a 1-to-1 change in the crack powder cocaine disparity, making it 1-to-1. 500 grams of crack is equal to 500 grams of powder cocaine.
I'm Richard Farias. I'm the president and CEO of the Tejano Center for Community Concerns here in Houston. The law that is in place today is more than 20 years old, and we've learned a lot about the similarities between crack and cocaine, and they're not as drastic as it was once believed. And so it really is time to really equalize and make more just the sentences that are given to people that are using crack, because right now they're getting the much tougher penalties than a cocaine user. And in fact, the two drugs are very similar in what happens to the individual, in the kind of behavior that individual gets involved with. And so consequently, what's really happening here, and looking at the big picture, is that it's yet another level of discrimination that continues to exist in this country, and it continues to impact the minority community, both black and Latino. Well, it's so sad, because what it does, it destroys people. Instead of trying to provide them, those that get involved with the drugs, trying to provide them with rehabilitation at the community level, they're thrown into prison and forgotten about, basically, because treatment is rarely provided, particularly to minority inmates. And so it's a big problem that is only exacerbated by the system that exists right now. And the unfortunate thing is not only does it really devastate that individual, because even when that individual comes out of prison, he's no better off than he or she was when they went in. And so what they do have against them is this felony conviction that, in fact, is going to ruin their possibilities of being productive citizens of their communities, being able to provide for their families adequately, and really being able to be a true American. Those chances are, and even if they're not immigrants, even if they were born and raised here, the problem, once somebody's convicted of a felony, it's so tough to get employment that is meaningful and that will actually provide for the needs of those families. So it's a real problem. It's a real problem across the country. Not only am I representing Tejano Center here locally, but I'm also representing the National Council of La Raza, which is in Washington, D.C., and has been working very closely with the ACLU. And their website is nclr.org. And there's a lot of information about the disparities that exist and about the opportunities that the community has to really call their senators, call their congressmen, and really let them know that there really does need to be change.